If you are setting up your Dante network in a redundant setup, don't make this one mistake that I've seen a bunch of people accidentally do. And that's where they set their primary and their secondary port into the same network switch. And that is a big no-no. In fact, you shouldn't ever put a primary and a secondary port, even if it's a switch network, into the same network switch. And let me tell you why. In a switch setup, you should only be using the single one to connect to a network switch, and then you can end up using this one as a daisy chain to connect additional devices. Now, the one thing that you never want to do is connect both of them into the same network switch, because then you are doubling up the network switch here and creating a pass-through, which is a big no-no. But with a redundant setup, we have a primary and a secondary port. Now, the primary port needs to go to its own dedicated network switch, being the primary side of the Dante network. The secondary goes into another identical switch that is for the secondary network. And the primary network and secondary network should never be connected to the same network switch, unless you're using VLANs, but with VLANs, you're still relying on a single network switch, so if that one network switch goes down, you lose your entire Dante network. But with a primary and redundant setup, Dante primary should be on its own switch, secondary should be on its own switch that's separate. One issue that you can run into is if you put the primary and secondary into the same network switch and redundant setup, you will end up getting a whole bunch of Dante issues everywhere and can cause audio dropouts, sync issues, a whole bunch of different things. So when you are setting up your Dante network and it is a redundant setup, make sure your primary goes into the primary side of your Dante network and the secondary goes into the secondary side of your network, which is its own dedicated switch that's separate from the primary.